weeks ago, I was laying in bed, unable to fall asleep, when out of nowhere, I was suddenly hit with this amazing idea. Now, I cannot take credit for this idea because it is not mine originally. I was rather inspired by our one and only, our queen, Taylor Swift. P.S. If you did not know this about me, yes, I am a Swiftie. And if you are not, that is totally fine. Keep any negative opinions to yourself, please. So if you too are a Swiftie, you might recall a few years ago when our girl Taylor was about to release her album Midnights, she did a little bit of a teaser, as she loves to do, on TikTok, and did a series called Midsummer Mayhem with me, where she had a little bingo cage filled with ping pong balls. Her bingo cage was much larger and fancier than this, where each night she would roll the cage and each ball had numbers 1 through 13 on them. She would select a ping pong ball, and whatever number that was corresponded to a track on the album, and that is how she slowly dropped the track list for us leading up to the album release. It was genius. It was so fun. It was so Taylor. I'd completely forgotten about it, and yeah, a few weeks ago I was laying in bed and I was thinking about what kind of content I wanted to make for you guys. I had seen the TBR chooses trend and I wanted to do something similar, but I wasn't crazy about the jar. I wanted to do something different. I'd seen so many people online do this trend, and I'm not saying that I'm not one to hop on a trend, because here we are with the TBR chooses video, but I wanted to put my own little spin on it. And instead of a TBR jar, what we now have is TBR Bingo. As soon as the idea popped into my head, I had a very clear vision for what I wanted. And I thought, okay, where am I going to find one of these vintage bingo cages? I looked online. They are available for sale, but some of them were a little bit more than what I wanted to pay for something very silly that I was going to use maybe once or twice a month. So my partner was like, why don't you look for something on Facebook Marketplace or start looking at thrift stores? And I thought, okay, great idea. I looked online. I came across this adorable used goods store in Austin, and they had a listing for one of these bad boys. I went to the store. They didn't have it. That was the video you saw of me where I found all of those awesome nostalgic books for like $1, $2, $3. Amazing. We love that place now. And they told me they would reach back out to me when they got a bingo cage, because apparently it's a common item that they receive. So I didn't hear from them. I popped back in one day just because I was in the neighborhood. I wanted to check, and there she was, $5. Amazing. She wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was all black. The balls inside were gray. It was a bit dreary. It was not really the vibe that we were going for. So I got a little spray paint, ordered some new balls. You guys, I think I spent a total of like $20, which is significantly less than some of the ones that I found online that fit all of my requirements. And this is exactly what I want, and she's perfect. So what I have done is, you know how the TBR jar, you write down your book titles on individual sheets of paper, toss them in a jar, and then that's how you pick your random selections for that month or that week or whatever it is that you're doing. With the bingo balls, we have numbers 1 through 75. And because I am a Notion girly, I created a specific table in my Notion dedicated to my bookshelf TBR. We have 1 through 75 books on my TBR. Yeah, I don't love that I have that many unread books on my bookshelf. So we have our list in Notion numbered 1 through 75. I was even super extra and matched colors to specific genres, because we have 5 different colors here. We have red, yellow, white, green, and blue, and each color corresponds to a different genre. So it's totally extra and unnecessary, but I thought it would be fun. One, because when we make our selection, we will immediately know the genre that we're reading before we even look at the number in Notion. 2, there are exactly 15 balls for each color, and I thought maybe matching a genre to each color might create a bit of a balance so that I have a nice mix of genres to pick from. So you might have seen my latest video, my summer reading list, which includes the 8 books that are at the top of my TBR for the summer. Today's video is actually what we are reading currently. So this month's TBR covering the next 3 to 4-ish weeks, depending on a couple of things. But 2 slots on this month's TBR list are already filled by my library holds that I just went to pick up. And that leaves only a few slots to be filled by our little TBR bingo cage. I'm so excited though. I could not wait, and we're doing it. Okay, I'm kind of nervous. I feel like it's just gonna go flying everywhere. Here we go. Okay, well that was really anticlimactic, but here's our first pick. We have B15. Now let's see what that one is. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, so B15 is We Do Not Part by Hong Kong. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, this is a good one. She's a Nobel Prize winner. We love that. And I actually need a Nobel Prize winner for my 2025 bingo. So we'll be able to check that one off. Yay! Okay, we've got 1 book. Okay, so we have 3 more picks. Okay, our second pick is O62. O62 is For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about this one. There's a reason it's been on my TBR shelf for an obscene amount of time. Hemingway is one of my favorite writers. He was not a great person or man. In fact, he was pretty terrible, but I love his writing style. And this one is not. This is she's a hefty book. How many pages is this? Oh God, it's 495 pages. Okay, that's not great. I don't love that for me, but you know what? We're committed. Oh, I also forgot to tell you guys what each color corresponded to genre-wise. So our white bingo balls, which also are the Bs, are fiction reads. Our red bingo balls, which are the Is, are a mix of nonfiction / short stories. That had to be a combo because there were less of those and not enough. I didn't have 15 of those, so we kind of mixed and matched there. The yellow bingo balls, which are the Ns, are memoirs. The blue bingo balls, which are the Gs, are our fantasy reads. And the green bingo balls, which are the Os, are our classics. So we have 1 fiction and 1 classic. We've got 2 more picks. All right, let's do it. Okay, N37. Okay, this is good. Distant Fathers. Oh, and it still has the bookmark from Marfa. This is the bookstore in Marfa where I got this book and 2 others. No, yes, 2 other books. This is so great. I'm very excited about this one. Thankfully, it is much shorter, and so is We Do Not Part. So hopefully our 4th pick will also be brief. All right, this is great. We have 3 different picks, 3 different genres. Let's see what our 4th and last pick will be. Okay, another green one. Oh, a 69. I just dropped a couple of these because I did not plan where I would put the ones that I picked. Oh, that's another classic. Oh God, please don't be too long. Okay, good. 69 is Slaughterhouse-Five. she's just a little baby. Okay, this is great. We love this. Okay, before I give you the summaries, I also forgot to mention that while I know some of you out there have done the absolutely most insane, unhinged thing and decided that if you don't read your TBR reads or whatever by the end of the year, you're going to unhaul them. That is not me. I am the other kind of unhinged where I will keep that book on my bookshelf for however long, but unhauling it or giving myself that kind of pressure to unhaul it if I don't read it by a certain time is not going to work for me. So much respect to those of you who have that kind of willpower. It's not me. We're just going to think optimistically and tell ourselves that if we select a number, we're going to commit and do our best to read the book. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into our summaries. So the first book we picked was We Do Not Part by Hong Kong. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let me read you what the inside of the dust jacket says. One winter morning, Kyung-ha receives an urgent message from her friend In-seon to visit her at a hospital in Seoul. In-seon has injured herself in an accident, and she begs Kyung-ha to return to Jeju Island, where she lives, to save her beloved pet, a white bird called Amma. A snowstorm hits the island when Kyung-ha arrives. She must reach In-seon's house at all costs, but the icy wind and squalls slow her down as night begins to fall. She wonders if she will arrive in time to save the animal, or even survive the terrible cold that envelops her with every step. Lost in a world of snow, she doesn't yet suspect the vertiginous plunge into the darkness that awaits her at her friend's house. Blurring the boundaries between dream and reality, We Do Not Part powerfully illuminates a forgotten chapter in Korean history, buried for decades, bringing to light the lost voices of the past to save them from oblivion. Both a hymn to an enduring friendship and an argument for remembering, it is the story of profound love in the face of unspeakable violence and a celebration of life, however fragile it may be. Okay, very excited for this one. Next up, the big one, From Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. In 1937, Ernest Hemingway traveled to Spain to cover the Civil War there for the North American Newspaper Alliance. 3 years later, he completed the greatest novel to emerge from the good fight, For Whom the Bell Tolls, the story of Robert Jordan, a young American in the International Brigades attached to an anti-fascist guerrilla unit in the mountains of Spain. It tells of loyalty and courage, love and defeat, and the tragic death of an ideal. In his portrayal of Jordan's love for the beautiful Maria and his superb account of El Sordo's last stand, in his brilliant travesty of La Pasionaria, and his unwillingness to believe in blind faith, Hemingway surpasses his achievement in The Sun Also Rises and A Farewell to Arms, to create a work at once rare and beautiful, strong and brutal, compassionate, moving, and wise. If the function of a writer is to reveal reality, Maxwell Perkins wrote to Hemingway after reading the manuscript, no one ever so completely performed it. Greater in power, broader in scope, and more intensely emotional than any of the author's previous works, it stands as one of the best war novels of all time. Please send thoughts and prayers. Boy. Okay, now for our memoir read, Distant Fathers. This singular autobiography unfurls from author Marina Jar's native Latvia during the 1920s and 30s and expands southward to the Italian countryside. In distinctive writing, as poetic as it is precise, Jar depicts an exceptionally multinational and complicated family, her elusive, handsome father, a Jew who perished in the Holocaust, her severe cultured mother, an Italian Protestant who translated Russian literature, and her sister and Latvian grandparents. Jar tells of her passage from childhood to adolescence, first as a linguistic minority in a Baltic nation, and then in traumatic exile to Italy after her parents' divorce. This memoir, likened to Speak Memory by Vladimir Nabokov or Annie Ernaux's The Years, and now translated into English for the first time, probes questions of time, language, womanhood, belonging, and estrangement, while asking what homeland can be for those who have none, or many more than one. I'm so excited for this book. I picked it up at Stop and Read in Marfa. I think it was featured on one of their tables in the middle, and it caught my attention. I have not read a translated novel from a Latvian writer before, and her story just really piqued my interest. So I can't wait for this one. Okay, our last pick, another classic, and thankfully a very short one. Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five is one of the world's great anti-war books. Centering on the infamous firebombing of Dresden, Billy Pilgrim's Odyssey Through Time reflects the mythic journey of our own fractured lives as we search for meaning in what we are afraid to know. Love it. And lastly, for our library picks, Braiding Sweetgrass. This was on my holds for a very long time. I was very far back in the line, so it's been many months, and I finally got to the top of the line and we have it. I am very much looking forward to this one. I could hand you a braid of sweetgrass as thick and shining as the plait that hung down my grandmother's back, but it is not mine to give, nor yours to take. Wingushk belongs to herself, so I offer in its place a braid of stories meant to heal our relationship with the world. I was very curious because, as you know, I love a memoir, and I believe the writing in this book is meant to be very poetic, very nostalgic, very ethereal, all things that I love. So I can't wait to get through this read and tell you all about it at the end of the month. And last but not least, we have Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is the first in a YA fantasy series, and I've been seeing a lot of buzz about it. I've heard a bit of the summary, and it definitely piqued my interest. I also I haven't read a fantasy novel in a minute, so I'm very excited to get back into the world of fantasy this month. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magic attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called Legendborn students who hunt the creatures down, and a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if it means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and the reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveals themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she will go for the truth, and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. And that wraps up our very first TBR Bingo Chooses video. I'm so excited about this series. I do plan on doing one of these videos about once a month, maybe more, depending on how much time I have to read in a given month. And I'm just thrilled to launch this new little series on my channel, do something that's a little more me and a little different, but still a twist on something that you all know. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'm so excited to do more of these videos. I think it's a really fun and cute way to inspire me to read more of what's on my own bookshelf and perhaps keep myself away from spending more money on books before I've read the ones that I already own. I hope that you enjoy. If you are inspired to make your own TBR Bingo cage, please tag me, tell me in the comments, send me your pictures, tag me in your videos. I would love to see it. Thank you so much for watching. If you stayed all the way to the end of the video, please leave one of these emojis in the comments. Don't forget to like, send this video to your book besties, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future TBR Bingo picks and more content that I have lined up for you this summer. I love you so much. Thank you once again, and until next time, I will see you next time. Bye!